Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's look, I'll be doing a first impressions and review on this new NYX Lid Lingerie palette. It comes with 6 neutral all matte shadows. So basically to get started, I'm taking the first color, which is a bone colored shadow, and I'm going to be placing that all over my eyes as a base. Now right off the bat, this color did not show up on my eyes at all. It may work for others, but for me, I didn't see a difference. It's not really too pigmented. Even after really digging and packing it on, it just didn't work for me. Then going in with my favorite shadow in the palette, which is like a burnt orange shade, I'm going to be placing that color all along my crease. Now compared to the first shadow, this is 10 times better, more pigmented and creamy, and just blends like a dream. And I personally love this shade. If it was up to me, you couldn't even tell they were on the same palette because they're so different as far as like pigmentation and just the way they feel on the lid. Then going in with this chocolate color from the palette, I'm going to be darkening up the crease, placing that color a little lower than the burnt orange. And same thing goes for this shade. It's extremely pigmented and a little does go a long way. I don't know what happened with the first shade, but every other color is really easy to work with and blend out. And for $10, I think this palette is really worth it, only because one shade doesn't work doesn't necessarily mean that the entire palette sucks. I mean, I love it and I'm definitely going to use it again. Then I decided to give the bone color shadow one more try and try to put it on my lid, and no, it didn't work out. The color came out extremely chalky and chunky, which is weird because the other shades are the opposite. So I just went back in with the chocolate brown and just placed it on my lid. Now I didn't expect this look to become so smoky, but hey, most of my makeup looks never come out as planned. So you know, you just have to go with the flow, and I actually really like how it came out. I would have liked it a lot better like this than what I originally planned. So, you know, things happen for a reason, guys. Then I just went ahead and blended out all the edges, making sure everything is all blended out. And then went in with some concealer. I went a little too ham on the blending and blended too far out. And since these shadows are super creamy and pigmented, it did get a little out of hand, but it's okay. Concealer always saves the day, and no one will ever know you messed up, you know? Then moving on to my face before finishing my eyes, I'm going to conceal. Now if you guys saw one of my recent videos, you know I like to conceal before as well as after foundation. It just works best for me since I have really, really dark under eye circles and pigmentation around my mouth. It just gives me a nice base for my foundation. And for foundation, I'm going in with my Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation in the shade Desert Beige. Now I know that in one of my past videos I said I didn't really like it as much, but I've grown to actually really love it, especially since I'm a little tanner now and my skin isn't so oily. What I would recommend if you do have really oily skin is to not put too much of it. A little does go a long way. That's the problem that I did have before. I just put too much and that's why it would feel like uncomfortable. But now that I've learned how to use it and apply it according to how my skin is feeling, I'm actually really, really loving it. And for concealer, I'm just going in with my Maybelline Fit Me concealer in the shade Sand with an Original Beauty blender. And to bake today, I'm actually mixing 2 setting powders. I'm mixing my Ben Nye banana powder with my Airspun. Now I didn't want to use just the banana powder only because it is a little too yellow for me, especially to bake. Like if I were to set just my under eye circles, it would be fine, but just with how my under eyes are set up, I always have to bake. So mixing these two just gave me the perfect outcome, not too white, not too yellow. It was a perfect in between. They balanced each other out perfectly. And then to set the rest of my face, I just went in with my Maybelline Fit Me foundation powder in the areas that I'm not baking. And then just wiping off that bake, you can see how smooth and not too yellow it's set under my eyes. I absolutely loved it. I left on the bake for about 5 minutes, not too long under my eyes, just because my under eyes do tend to be really dry at times. And then to finish up my eyes, I'm just going to go back in with the chocolate brown, and I'm going to be smoking that on my lower lash line. And same thing, guys, if you mess up, your concealer is your best friend. I don't know what was wrong with me that day, but I had so many little mistakes. It's like I literally had my concealer right next to me the entire time, just waiting for me to mess up. And then I just went back in with the setting powder that I mixed up, and I let it sit there for a second so you couldn't tell exactly where I messed up. Now, I decided to keep me messing up in the video because we're all human, we mess up. I don't want to put out this like fake look making me seem like my makeup application is always perfect, because girl, let me tell you, it is not. So instead of putting something fake, I'd rather teach you guys my ways of fixing it instead of just making it seem like I'm just this amazing makeup artist. Then I just went in with some gel liner on my waterline, then grabbed my Anastasia Brow Powder Duo in Ebony and lined the top of my eyes with the darkest shade so my lashes blend in smoothly. Then I popped on some mascara on the top and lower lash line. And the lashes that I used today are the Lily lashes in the style Monaco. And to contour, I'm going back in with my very old Anastasia contour kit with the shade Havana. And I'm going to do the usual. You guys already know I like to focus that on my temples and a little bit higher than my cheekbones because, you know, my face is a little wide. And then to sharpen up the contour, I'm going to go back in with my Eco Tools blender. And with my Fit Me powder, I'm going to clean that up, make it look sharper. The sponge makes it so easy because of its shape. I haven't been able to let the sponge go. I'm absolutely obsessed with it. Then I'm going to go in with my little tiny The Balm Cosmetics blush in Cabana Boy. I actually got this in an Ipsy bag not so long ago, and it's lasted me for so long. It just goes to show you how pigmented their blushes really are. And then I skipped highlight for today only because I wanted this look to be all matte and go with the palette vibe, you know. And then I finished it up with my NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream in the shade Dubai. So ending this video here, I'd say this little mini palette is really worth it if you're looking for a tiny neutrals, everyday type of palette. The only negative thing is the lightest shade, but I mean, one thing out of everything, I don't think it's bad. It retails for about $10, which isn't bad at all. And yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this makeup tutorial. Make sure to show some love and give it a big thumbs up. And if you aren't part of the family, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below for new videos every week. And I will see you guys next time.